What's going on, guys? Gonna do a Strong Life live video cast with my man Brian Chontosh, aka Tosh. We're gonna let some people file in, and then Tosh will join in and request to be on this. And hopefully I could, more than likely, we're doing pretty good with it. We'll get the audio and the video pulled from this, get this up on YouTube and Strong Life podcast. So we're going to be going about 30 minutes. That's usually pretty good with the Instagram Live. And we'll be taking some questions. Cool, Tosh is in there. And now, Tosh, you just have to request to join this. There's in the bottom like two faces. I think you click on that. There we go, buddy. Here we go. Let you in. Go live with Tosh. And then just let him come in. Cool. Nick Servey asking how Nick Gravina's doing. Kid's doing awesome. Kid's a hammer. Does all the right stuff. All right, says waiting for Tosh to join in, and should have us come together. So, guys, just hang tight while this gets set up and squared away. And we might try that one more time. Tosh, hold on, buddy. I'm going to try that one more time. Cancel. Boom. Try that again. Go live with Brian Chontosh. Add. There we go. Should be working unless internet is slow in the mountains. Yeah, brother.
What's up?
Dude, the power of the internet.
That shit's crazy, man. That shit's weird.
I know. So whenever this happens, do you remember the movie Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Talking to the guy on the phone, and I said to the kids, I was a freshman in high school, I said, guys, in the future, we're going to be able to see each other's faces on the phone. So when I could see it, I was so pumped up. What's happening, brother? How's
sitting here for 15 minutes because I'm a weirdo, right? Like I try to do everything ahead of time so things are good and we don't have these problems. And then sure enough, until you do it live, then it says, hey, you got to access something, enable microphone, something. It's like, damn me for trying to get ahead of the game, you know?
Yeah. Like for guys like you and I, man, the tech is crazy. Webb Smith, shout out some love. Webb Smith is the man. And so, Tosh, we've probably got about 30 minutes. And I think you've ever done a podcast or any kind of live video cast with anybody, have you?
Not like this. Usually, Andy Stump and Trail Runner Nation and them, but sitting across from the table, and so this is a little different, but we're gonna make it work.
So you're on, are you on Andy's Cleared Hot podcast? Did he do an episode with you?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. What a great time. Andy's such a cool dude. And we were at the CrossFit Games, and he came up to me. He's like, man, let's just get a hotel room and do a podcast. I was like, oh, let's do it. So
yes, I will. So I will link that up. So I will get this on my blog, and I'll link it up. But there might be a good amount of people that don't really know your background. And I know that could be a long question. So can we do a 2 or 3 minute quick bio of who Brian Chontosh is?
Yeah, you want me to do it?
Yeah, brother. I told people I said I wanted to say Google me, bitch.
Don't do that, man. Internet's full.
I said Google Tosh, and you were actually mentioned in one of the first podcasts I ever did, and because of that photo you posted, interestingly enough. So yeah, give people a little background of who Brian Chontosh is.
I'm an average guy, just trying to win. You know what I mean? Was in the Marine Corps for 21 years. Did some enlisted time. Did some officer time. Been around the world a few times. Saw a little of this, saw a little of that. I found CrossFit. Love CrossFit. I know there's a lot of haters out there, but it doesn't matter.
Haters gonna hate.
No problem. Not gonna judge you. Don't judge me. But I found it while I was in my twilight years of the Corps. I wish I would have found it 10 years sooner because some of the methodology and the concepts just it resonated kind of parallel to a lot of my leadership philosophies, my philosophies towards training men. And I really started enjoying that. Picked up with the level 1 seminar team, and I travel now, fully retired. So I just kind of hang out at home, live off of mama here in the mountains of Colorado, which is awesome. And I travel with the level 1 seminar staff doing teaching movement.
Yep. So the first time I came across you was through a video on the CrossFit Journal. And before that, I had heard about you. Brian McKenzie, I think, met up with you when you were out at maybe Camp Pendleton, and you were taking the guys through like swimming and everything. And he's telling me about this guy, Tosh. And I'm like, damn, sounds like my kind of dude, man. Sounds like a hammer. And then you and I kind of like, I met through CrossFit, probably similar circles of people that knew you or had worked with you. And then we have great close friends, you know, Lipson and Cammie and Chris Smith and Andrea. So great people. And, you know, what we're going to get into in this episode, you know, you and I have been exchanging some messages. We talk about leadership. We talk about finding your strength. And you know, as fate would have it, I was, you know, I don't try not to spend too much time on Facebook, but, you know, you said, oh, I'm an average guy. And I know a little bit what you mean by that, because I think people sometimes they say you're this or you're that, but I feel like most people that are achieving, you're like, you feel normal, but you don't feel good standing still. So you're moving forward. So looking through Facebook, I saw a lot of people talking about how tough life is and talking about, you know, the difficult things in life. And I was like, man, you know, if I was speaking with Tosh about this, he would say, hey, man, just move forward. Like, just take a step forward. So I want to talk about those two things with you, you know, finding your strength, because there's a lot of quote unquote normal people out there, or average people out there, who might be like, I don't know if I have a strength. And I even said it to you. I'm like, sometimes I'm not sure if I have a strength. You get a little bit down on yourself. So, you know, you're doing leadership work right now. I know you have some of that where you're consulting. And I'd love to hear, like, what's some steps that we could take for the everyday person who wants to find their strength and find that leader within them?
That's a lot, man. That's a lot there.
I'm struggling, right? I'm not feeling that confident in myself. How do I start to just move forward?
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of times the first thing is shattering people's expectations, or what they think the expectations are. You know, what is normal anyways? Like, who's to say this is normal or that's not normal? And, you know, first things first is just say, hey, like, what's going on for you? And what do you feel, or what do you think, or what are you trying to do? Stop measuring yourself against A and B, or he or she, and just, hey, let's just take a really good third-party look at what's going on. And, you know, I like to use the phrase suck less, because everybody likes to say, oh, well, just do a little bit better, try a little harder, be a little bit better every day. And it's gotten so cliche, and it almost just feels corny, you know. But when I say, hey, why don't you just pick one thing and suck a little bit less at it every day? I mean, for me, it works that way, you know. And hey, I didn't do this well today. I believe this. I have these ideologies, or I have these things that I believe in, I think, or I value. And you know what? When I reflect on my day, I had a moment there where I didn't quite nail it. You know what? Tomorrow, I'm going to nail that. Or the next time that I have that moment, I'm just going to nail that, and start there. Stop trying to keep reaching for this bar, and you're always trying to reach for it, and you have all these douchebags on your left and right that are pulling your hand down or kicking you out from underneath your own feet. Stop trying to reach for shit. Just look inside and say, hey, I think I could do this a little bit better. Or, you know what? I didn't really exemplify that value very well when I was talking to the clerk at Whole Foods this morning. You know, I really wasn't that nice. Like, man, I really want to try to be a little bit better tomorrow. I'm going to suck less at doing that. And it works for me. You know, start there.
Simple, right?
Yeah,
like
simple. Everybody wants to shoot for the big things. You know, everybody wants to go for stuff that's going to catch your eye. It's going to have the biggest bang, the loudest bang. and it's going to be visible. Everybody's going to do things that are really, really visible and big, grand. I want to lose 30 pounds. Hey, that's cute. But how about this? Why don't you lose half a pound? And when you are successful at that half of a pound, how easy is it to lose half a pound? Hey, just repeat that. Just repeat that. I don't know, what's 60? Just repeat that 60 times, and you've lost 30 pounds. All of a sudden, being awesome at life doesn't sound so ominous anymore, you know?
Because we're not, my new phrase I said to you, I go, it's so simple, it's complicated. Like, that's the thing. We're trying to complicate everything. And you're right. Like, sometimes we overthink things, or instead of saying, I'm going to just suck less, or I'm just going to do this one thing, people are like, I'm going to dominate the world. I'm going to conquer the world. Like, when people say that in the fitness industry, I usually say, no, the only ever I've seen conquer the world is CrossFit. It's everywhere. And, you know, and they also didn't start by saying, Greg Glassman didn't start by saying, I'm going to conquer the world. He was like, I'm going to just change how I train these people to get them great results. I'm going to be great with my one client. And when you're great in that, like, when you do one thing, it's 100% more than zero. That's how I look at it. So what are, you know, the thing that kind of running through my mind somehow with all that Facebook stuff and seeing people kind of announcing their struggle and how tough it is. And I was waiting for somebody to just like comment and say, hey man, just fucking do one thing great. But everybody kind of like was like, yeah, life sucks and this and that. And you got to be super careful with who you surround yourself with. And I know you're neighbors with Dave and Cammie, right?
Oh, they're great.
How great. And isn't Matt Chan near you guys?
He moved down south a little bit, back down into the Denver area. So
okay.
Right here, a little conglomerate of people with like-minded interests. You know, I don't need to conquer the world. I just need to surround myself with people that have the same set of values. You know, take a look at myself real quick in the mirror in a dark room with nobody watching or listening. What do I really want out of life? Who do I want to be? Identify those things. It doesn't have to be 30. It could be 2 or 3. And then all you do is surround yourself with people that exemplify those things.
And some people, that's hard.
You know, I don't have to conquer the world with CrossFit. Greg, all he had to do was find 2 or 3 people that liked what he was doing, believed what he was doing, and he just surrounded himself with those people. And it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew. People like complex things because they're sexy, right? Like, everybody's got to have the new 7-minute abs and then the 6-minute abs. And that's why I love your posts. You know, it's simple. It's just, boom, here it is. No fluff, no shine, no sparkles, not seeking to glorify anything. It's just raw truth.
Right.
Hard work.
Yeah, because it's like, that is, the shortcut is the work. Now, somebody commented to ask about the whole, you know, the boxing challenge. And you made a post about it last week. And the guy who I had interviewed, Ryan, he's
Ryan Brown.
Yeah. So he was talking about, I was asking him what inspired him in training. And then he brought up your story. And that was a story I hadn't heard about you. So that story parallels with, you're in the Marines. And what was your rank in the Marines?
Oh, I had a bunch of different ranks. You know,
okay.
I met Brian. I was a company commander. So let's go back. You mentioned about Brian McKenzie and Pendleton, you know, and it was pre-OIF and we were it was post-OIF, and we were training hard, just coming into the CrossFit thing. It was getting big. Brian was doing CrossFit endurance, and he came down to Pendleton to train with us, you know, because I wasn't doing 2 days and 3 days. I was doing all days. And, I had the luxury of that. That was my job, you know, wake up in the morning, make the lieutenants come to my house and pick me up, except I wouldn't get in their car, and we would run the ridgeline and the fire breaks for 3-4 miles to get to work, meet the men. We'd go do a 5 and 5 or a 10 and 10, and then we'd go back to the office. I'd answer a couple emails. I'd go to the gym with Chief Warrant Officer, finish up the gym, come back, see the commander for a meeting, and then go hit the ridgeline for another run. It was all day long. and throwing swimming in there and having Mackenzie come down. And it was just a really good time. Well, Ryan Brown, I remember because lieutenants had to do what I said anyways, right? So I'd bring him to the gym. Now we're doing this. I'm going to try this out. I'm getting into this CrossFit thing, and it's awesome. And so I'd be hazing him at the Mateo 62 area gym. And I didn't say hazing. Well, I can say hazing now because I'm not in. I can get in trouble. So hazing the lieutenants. And there was always same faces. Was that?
Nowadays, hazing is like a different meaning. Like everybody's offended.
Yeah. I haze the shit out of the men. And you can do it when they respect you and they know and they trust you because you're doing it out of love. So then maybe it's not hazing, but haze the piss out of people because they knew it was out of love, you know?
Yep.
And I was hazing myself too, so it didn't matter. But different story. And always familiar faces at the 62 area gym. And then this is like this one guy or two guys, and Ryan was one of them that was always curious about when was Tosh taking the lieutenants down to the gym to do the workout because he's there. And, you know, he watched and got into it a little bit and would do a couple workouts, but he's in a different company, so it was a little awkward. And then we went on deployment, and I embarked a whole bunch of weightlifting equipment. You know, Greg was generous enough to let me borrow some stuff, and Nicole, I was dating Nicole and borrowing some stuff from her and stole her rowing machine, and we just embarked all this stuff and talked to the skipper of the ship, and he let us have the weather deck and just turned it into an outdoor CrossFit gym, and just CrossFit every day, twice a day. And, you know, there's not a lot of room to go running and do stuff on a ship on a small, I don't even know what we were on, an LPH. No, we were on an LSD, who knows, small ship. I can't remember that stuff, the Dubuque. And just trained hard. And it was awesome. And that's how I met Ryan, got involved into CrossFit, you know, but.
Was inspired.
I love this stuff. You're taking me down memory lane where I'm thinking about some of the best years of my life with the most amazing men and women that served our country that I was able to share my times with. And it gets all excited. I start talking fast, but
right. So here's what's interesting. So when I look at you, it seems like basically the essence of what you do is you're just, you know, you said it earlier, suck less, but you know, that story of you, I think, taking on like 150 of the guys and like a bunch of like, what was it, like a 2-minute round, 3-minute round?
Those guys wore me out. My God. I was always looking to take it to a new level, do something a little bit bigger.
Well, 150 is a lot. You know, most people would say, hey, 5 guys, 10 guys. So you took on 150 guys.
And I think it was 164. I don't want to, you know, nickel and dime 14 dudes, but that's 14 minutes of getting my ass kicked. So I think it was 164 or 168. We'll go 164, but was just brainstorming an idea how to just make the men tough and me stay tough and challenge myself. And it was like, you know what, I'm going to body spar everybody in the company. And, you know, of course, the bicker and batter from the lieutenants and Gunny and the first sergeant and the staff and CO. It was awesome. It was a total, you know, cajoling. Oh no, you're not going to do it. You won't do it. Da-da-da. Yeah, watch me do it. You know. And so I said, hey, everybody in the company, you don't get to get off the boat in Thailand unless you do 60 seconds with me in the square. So we had 3 sets of gloves, 1 set for me, 2 sets for those guys, so they could take them off and have somebody else already have them ready to go. And there was no more than 10 seconds in between rounds, and the rules were body sparring. Because, you know, I mean, headshots, I wasn't looking – people say, oh, you're a pussy because you didn't do a headshot. Like, that wasn't the purpose, you know what I mean? The purpose wasn't to belt somebody in the head or get hit in the head and show how tough I was. It was basically to put the men in the ring where it's me and you. It's a very interpersonal moment, and there's a little bit of violence. And there's a lot of respect, and you just punch each other, and you, from the shoulders to the waist, and you just try to do your best for 60 seconds, you know. And I wasn't there to kill anybody, and you know, they came at me with a flurry, and I'd weather it, and then I'd beat them a little, you know. If they were their talents were like they were a 3 or a 4 as you're boxing, I just stayed a little bit ahead of them, let them get a couple shots in, deflected most of them, and then hit them a few times so they could feel what it was like to get hit and that it was okay. And
Right. So
it was good.
let's break that down. Like, when I heard of that story and I kind of knew of I knew a little bit of your history in the Marines. Then when I saw you out of the Marines, I noticed you were doing those, you were doing those like a long, I don't know what they're called, like those extreme
adventure racing. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes with a team, sometimes alone. It would be like a 24-hour trek or a 5 or a 7-day thing. And it seems like your thing, Tosh, is that if you're like not moving forward, you're not good with that. But you don't do anything complicated. You just sign up for something and you move forward with it. Or training wise, I always say, do 3 things: carry something, do calisthenics, and do sleds. Don't complicate it. And now that you're in the arena where you're consulting individuals and companies, is that a thing where basically people are complicating shit and it kind of paralyzes them? Is that what you notice, or what do you see as a mistake and how to work around moving forward and sucking less?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. There's a huge generalization there. The people that I come into contact with that are looking for some leadership advice and whatnot, that tends to be what I experience, or that tends to be the avenue that I go into first because it's easy for me, it's natural for me. But performance on demand, I believe in that. It's, hey, what can you do right here, right now? Boom. I don't care what you used to be able to do 3 weeks ago or when you were in high school. I don't care what you could do if you were prepping for 4 months from now. I don't think you had a good night's sleep, what you could do because you were out drinking. Not my problem. I just want to see what you can do right here, right now. It's performance on demand. And when you take that to an extreme for a little while and you adopt that philosophy in your head, it makes life very, very simple. I go to Lipson's house to work out twice a week. I look forward to it because it's just cool. And I don't care. He tries to text me what we're going to do or this. I don't care. I'm just going to show up, whatever you say, Dave. And I do it. And there's something really cool about that. There's a submission, but it's not really submitting. It's just, I don't know what the right word is for right now, but it's just like, hey, I trust you and I'm going to do it. And if you were to tell me to do this, it's like, oh man, that's where I like to put my body and my head because I feel like I have the most to grow. It's when you don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning when the alarm rang. And the best thing that you could do is put that first foot on the floor and start going. It's this acculturated hesitancy to do things. Well, I'm going to hit the snooze button again. I'm going to hit the snooze button again. I'm not going to do my homework now. I'll do it tomorrow. It's just like, hey, that is just this insidious beast, this energy that it gets into you and it grows until all of a sudden it has, I don't want to say catastrophic type patterns or tendencies, but it's like, I find my life drifting. I know to start right back there. When the alarm goes off, don't hit snooze, get out of bed, or hit snooze once. I set my alarm 20 minutes early so I can hit the snooze once, which I don't know, and I feel better doing it. But I don't feel like taking out the trash. The moment I say, oh, man, I don't feel like I'll do it in 5 minutes, I have this light bulb clicks on and says, whoa, Tosh.
Dude.
Your job is to suck a little bit left now, and then I go take out the trash.
And that's a victory right there. That's a win. Like, even I was saying to myself, I was like, should I take out the garbage tomorrow morning? I'm like, no, be better prepared. Take it out right now before you speak with Tosh. And, I'll tell you something from like my videos and all that stuff. I'm a one-man show. I don't have, if you see a lot of videos nowadays, you see some pretty high quality stuff. And I think what I do is I don't wait for that because I know I'll wait forever. Because now I'm going to wait on a camera person. Then I'm going to wait for them to edit. Then I'm going to wait for them to just do 3, 4, 5 things. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me put the real shit out and show the flaws. Let me stutter over my words while I do Strong Life Tip of the Day. In my mind, I'm like, don't do it. You don't really have a great idea right now. I pull out the camera and I'm like, do it now. It's not perfect, but nothing is perfect, really.
That's what's beautiful. Imperfection is true beauty, right? Like, I mean,
yes.
Hey, you are authentic. That is beautiful because I mean, there's a time and a place for everything, right? There's a time and a place to dress something up and put the best foot forward and do this and do that. But like, you cannot undervalue the tremendous power of authenticity. And when it comes from the heart, people, they might not be able to describe it. They might not be able to put their finger on it, but they sense it. And it is the most powerful. You can't bullshit a bunch of Lance Corporals. They're going to call you out every single time. Why try? And I wanted to do, like, I just wanted to be the authentic self and take it or leave it, however it is. But no matter what, if I get feedback, I can make myself better. And that's what I love about you is that, yeah, you're strong like today. I remember there was a gap in your tips of the day for a while. And I say, hey, I think I texted you. I was like, hey, dude, well, where's the tip of the day? Get that shit going again because I need it.
It's the tip of the week.
I need it. You know what I mean? And I'm so glad it's back, man.
Well, I often say I do the Strong Life tip of the day because now I said it, now I have to do it. And I also say that I am the most average, normal guy as well. And that's why, like, I always say, like, if I let things slide, I become very, people use that word mental toughness. I know you don't like that word. I think things are always tough, not just the physical, it's more of the emotional. So like I'll train with the college guys, or if I've got a group of kids I know at the gym that don't need me to hover over them coaching, I'll train with them because I know it's going to be tough because it's very hard to keep up with a 15-year-old who doesn't get tired when they're working out. So I'm like, well, that's exactly why I need to do it. And it's this like, it's not even a day by day. Sometimes it's like an hour by hour, inch by inch, brick by brick kind of thing. And when you were doing those challenges, Tosh, I remember asking you what's your training look like. And you're like, oh man, I don't really train like I used to. I train the mind. And you said, show me what you could do on demand. Our boy, Quattro Deuce, Chris Smith, invited me a couple years ago. They were doing like a bike race in DC, but I think it was going to take like a few days. I'm like, dude, I can't do that. I ain't ready. He's like, what about if your wife and kids were kidnapped? I'm like, hells yeah, I'll do it. He's like, then you're ready. That's what he said to me. He goes, I just had to change the whole frame of mind. And when I said that, it just blew my mind. I was like, oh shit, like I'm have to get ready. He's like, but if you're in a extreme, moment, you are ready. And that's why I'm kind of like always training, because I fear becoming quote unquote normal, whatever that is. I know that I have to suffer a bit through the day. I have to work hard. I have to wake up early. Even, like what you're saying, take out the garbage. Oh, is there a little piece of garbage on the ground? Don't walk by it. Pick it up and you're better. It's so little.
Otherwise, you're not worth a shit. Like, I mean, people laugh. I'll walk over a piece of trash. Now, I don't have the time in my life to, police call all of Boulder, Colorado. But if I'm walking over something, I actually will take sometimes I take 2 or 3 steps past it and I stop.
Yes.
I'm like, damn it. It was in your head, you saw it, and it was actually going, and you still walk by it, and I stop, I turn around, I go back, and I pick it up, and I throw it away. And now it's like, okay, hey, so you wasted 5 seconds. If you would have just done it right the first time, wouldn't have wasted 5 seconds. There's a lesson for you right there. But, I mean, if I really, truly value something, and I'm unwilling to do it consistently in my life, I would submit that I don't really value it. And it's so much easier to say, oh, we're going to do it about the big, huge things. I don't eat meat because I'm a vegetarian, and I don't do this. And it's always cool to do the things that are really so hard to do, the tiny little insignificant things. Well, I submit that the value then there is here. If it's so hard to do those little tiny things, well, that's your opportunity to have the greatest significance. And now we're back in this circle again about simplicity and the power of simplicity. So, I mean, I can't look at somebody else and say, hey, this is what I believe in, if I don't actively do it myself. But I mean, and I'm subject to failures, right? I'm not perfect, and I know that that's okay, because I'm on a quest to be closer to better.
Right. There's no such
And
thing as
have the
perfect.
time between sucking greater and greater every time, right? So the longer it is between episodes of me sucking, I'm winning. And
Yeah.
who doesn't want to win?
That could be a whole nother episode. Who doesn't want to win? I think that some people are completely okay with just being, I use that phrase, I'm just happy to be part of the team. Like, they're working, they're not pushing the envelope, they're not in the bottom, they're not at the top, they're in the comfort zone. When you want to win, there's going to be struggle, there's going to be emotional pain, physical pain, there's going to be those tough things. And you're right, like, we had this conversation about, if everybody wins, then that's not reality.
Well, I'm hoping that I didn't lose the feed. We have to reconcile this definition of winning.
Okay.
I like Randy Walker right here that just said something. What's important now? That
Yes.
guy gets it. That guy gets it. So I mean, winning can be having to endure and physical pain and emotional and this and that, and there's a time and a place for everything. But like, what is the most important thing for me to do right now? If I do that, I am winning. That could be hugging my wife when she's having a moment where she just needs a hug, yet I know that this is happening over here and I really want to do that. Or picking up and making a phone call, or giving $5, or picking up the piece of trash, or winning could also be like shooting 15 bad guys, and doesn't matter, but we need to fix how we're defining winning and what's important now. Randy Walker, like, sign the guy up. Like, I don't surround myself with people that don't understand that. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my time to surround myself with people that don't. And some people are trainable, and some people just need to be introduced this mindset, and some people need some time to practice it, because I'll tell you what, you didn't get this in a day. I didn't get this in a day. It's years and years and years of, you said it in your text messages, evolving, constantly growing, living a life that's part of, like, going someplace. And we all pick up this concept eventually, ideally, at a certain point. Some people pick it up at 12 if they've got a good father, mother, guardian, role model. Some people, it probably took me till I was 32 years old.
Really?
To figure this out. You know what I mean? And I'm just glad that I figured it out. And now I want to or introduce it to more people as possible,
The toughest thing, I think, Tosh, is not everybody is in an environment, whether it's work or family, where people are like, yeah, let's go for it. And I think you working, with the CrossFit seminars, being around Dave, your wife, like, you're around the right people. And that is like a foundation. It's, there's strength in numbers, but I always tell people also, like, there's times where you got to know that you could count on yourself, to just move forward. And it's like this, right? There's a lot of up and down. It's never smooth sailing. My kids are watching, and also your wife is watching. So at least we have a couple of people who love us on. But should we take a question or two? I don't know if anybody's got a question.
Hey, real quick, I'm happy to take questions, but I want to just say, hey, look, like, some people say, oh, well, Tosh, you're surrounded with all these people that, hey, you know what? It's not because I just fell into it. It's because I've worked to get there. And anybody can work to get there, to be surrounded with these people. And yeah, there's luck and there's fortune, but if you be the there's a Gandhi quote, something Nicole's got it written down someplace. I see it, like, be the force or be the change you want to see in the world. Be with, and that's how we met. That's why I think, cadre of friends and family that found ourselves in this place. We've worked hard to get here.
Well, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Like, I always say, like, if you do nothing, nothing's going to happen. It's like, I'm just this big believer in, you know, one thing is 100% more than zero. It's all those little things. You could make a list of so many little things, but I find that even making that list is procrastinating. Don't even make the list. Move forward. Take an action, and that's going to move forward. Let's, quick question for you, Tosh, because I don't know what kind of questions we're going to get. You're working on a book now. I didn't know you're writing a book. Can you give a little info on the book, or?
Yeah, I don't even know what it is going to be. It's funny because I'm working with TJ and people have been talking to me about this and that, want to hear your thoughts. And I've been fortunate to be in a training environment where you get to influence hundreds, thousands of men and women, right? Like being in the military, being an instructor at the Naval Academy or at TBS or at IOC or being a company commander. You have this awesome opportunity to influence others right here, right now. And now that I'm not in, I don't really interact and influence a lot of people. And people are always saying, hey, what do you believe in? How do you believe this? And they call you up and ask for advice. And it's like, well, I'm not just capturing this and putting it out in a different forum. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. And so we're trying to have these random conversations and capture, well, how does Tosh process this? And what does he think? And take it or leave it, but at least throw it out there for discussion. And if people can get connected with what they're saying and process it, they don't have to agree. They don't have to disagree, but like let's have the conversation, because there we have opportunity for growth. So we're going to put a book together that just has what makes Tosh tick, really.
I think telling stories. I think telling your stories will inspire so many people. I think people look for inspiration because they're having a hard time finding it within them, and then they become inspired by somebody else. They learn it. Our buddy Dave asked, like, who's your biggest inspiration? So is that, and then A Sheriff asking about your involvement with Travis Manion Foundation. So who's your biggest inspiration, Tosh? Whoop, hold on, I don't hear you. Tosh, hold on. I don't hear you. Hey, guys, if you could comment below, let us know.
Yeah, some kind of connections going. So I think you asked me who my biggest inspiration is. And
yeah, you got that mountain internet connection.
Difficulties.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, man. Eat it. Eat the protein or not. Like sometimes you need to learn how to be able to function and do the next task when you don't have everything that you want. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if you have it and you have access to it, do it. Sometimes see how well you'll perform without it. So that way, if you find yourself in that situation, you'll know. And your body has to be ready for anything. So, there's so many different things out there for protein consumption. If you're in a sporting competition or you're planning or you're training, I train for life. So sometimes I drink protein afterwards. Sometimes I don't. I'm on a no kick right now. I'm eating some chicken breast and some tuna after I work out with Dave Lipson, and then sometimes I put in a Redman.
You said it earlier. The imperfections are the perfections. That's the beauty. So, oh, God forbid, I'm not going to have a protein shake 2 hours after I lift. That's not the end of the world, right? That's definitely not the end of the world. I'd love to hear about who's your biggest inspiration or a big inspiration to you.
Yeah, we have these guys that come in and out of our lives at different times. So, I would do super disservice if I said one person, but at different stages in my life, there's always been an individual, and being able to recognize who that individual was and what they contributed. And sometimes some of the shittiest people that I've ever been around were the greatest teachers, if you will, because I was experiencing what I don't want to be like. So, Nicole Carroll, I love her. She's my partner. She's not really my wife because you can't lock this down, but she's amazing. And I made a comment at the Naval Academy one time about the person that taught me the most how to be a man was this great woman. She kind of taught me what it was, or what it meant to want to be a great man, to try to be a great man. And, you know, she's that person for me. I constantly, when I'm about to do something stupid, like who's up to the casino after this podcast and blow a bunch of money, I think about, yeah, she's probably not going to be too happy with that. And then I don't, you know, but Nicole Carroll, she's amazing. I wish more people would get to know who she was at a certain level that I do.
Yep.
I'd be remiss without talking about Pat Millay, you know, commander of mine a couple times, some of the darkest hours and days of my life. Colonel Pat Millay, I mean, who can't talk about Quattro Deuce? You know, it's kind of cool that what that guy is to me. So those are three pretty special people that are in my life right here, right now. I'd say Zach Avanesh, but you know, he'll blush a little bit. But I'll tell you what, like I look at what he said. Here's something is, you ever get an email from somebody that they have a little cute quote at the bottom of their email line? Like, this motherfucker, all he likes to do is have his little tagline. Has he ever read his own tagline and thought about it? Does he even do his own tagline? And so many people spout these cute little things off, and they're good for a day, or they're the passing craze. And then, but when that person utters the cute little phrase, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me, because I'm like, who the fuck are you? You're stupid. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, Zach Avanesh is not that guy. Like, he says these things, and I know, like, he says them because he does them. He doesn't just say them because he wants to do them. He says them because he believes it. And
well, every
one
day,
thing, say it over and over and do it every day.
yeah, every day I feel is like I got to just press forward. What's interesting is I always say, man, I wish I learned or you know, had some of this earlier, like this desire that I had. And I used to, in my younger years, just didn't really believe in myself. And even to this day, I have those struggles. But I always, you know, being around, you know, Quattro Deuce, even when we mention his name, I feel like I have to be better. And, man, that's like so an amazing, and I know he would deny, like, you know, he would brush it off. But I think of stuff like my grandparents. My grandfather fought in 3 different countries' military. You know, he escaped the Holocaust. So he was in the Polish army, then the Russian army, then the Israeli army. So a lot of times when it's like a hard day, I'm like, are you escaping the Holocaust? No. So how bad is my life? Really? You know what I'm saying? Like, we complain about some trivial stuff. Dave Lipson says, where does Zach see himself in 10 years? You know, I'll say this, is that I look back at the past 10 years and I realized I as much as I talk about evolving, I've been staying this course that's not impacting the people that I want. And I'm a big believer in kind of the youth generation, but I also have come across many guys my age and older who are still kind of that shy, insecure 16-year-old, but now they're 46, the bigger version. And I'm like, man, I love how hard work, be it physical, mental, all kinds of different work is such a general term, but I love how doing tough things changes you for many years to come, for a lifetime. So I want to find a way to just like build tougher people. Like when I look at when somebody complains to me about something, I think to myself, that guy probably never does heavy back squats, never did a set of 20 rep squats. And I want to kind of introduce that. So I don't want to be so concrete and say, this is where I'll be in 10 years, but I need to take whatever knowledge is running through my brain and impact more people and let people know that, I try to be as transparent as possible and say, I struggle every day with shit, but I just try to, move forward inch by inch, brick by brick. So we got a good question for you, Tosh. How do you enjoy working out with the CrossFit athletes in Cookeville? Is that Rich Froning's place or?
Yeah. Let's be clear. I didn't work out, so it was awesome. That was a great time. Chris Hinshaw was working with Rich, and at the time under the covers with he wasn't working under the covers. He was working under the radar with Sigma's daughter, and asked me to come out and put together a little event that sort of replicated some of the stressors that you would find in an adventure race or some of these expeditions or some of these man tests that I used to do for the military. And I just put together a quick little something. I want to do something a little bit more constructive and organized next time if they ever want to do it. But it's that interesting dynamic with games athletes. They live a very, I mean, they've come a long way in the last 4 or 5 years, and they're continuing to grow at a rate exponentially greater than their contemporaries in regular athletic endeavors, sporting communities. They live very controlled lives, day in and day out, and they're very meticulous about workouts and calories and whatever they do that I don't know, because I'm not interested in being a CrossFit Games athlete. But
and then CrossFit Games is very unabsolute. They don't know what's going to happen, so it's a great. They probably need you more frequently, so they're prepared. I'm such a big believer in how your psychology affects your physiology. So I could believe in something, even though it's not scientifically a good program, I'll get better from it because I believe in it. But if you don't believe in this perfect program put together by the best, Russian training scientists, it ain't going to work. Because if you don't believe, that's the roadblock to it. I'm such the mind drives the body. And that's the thing I'm always trying to catch. Like, be careful of letting my mind slip into anything that's, down, whatever, that's a general phrase too, but careful with that. But we're going to close out with this, Tosh. So I want to make sure I could save this. I want to catch this last question for you. I'm struggling sticking to a program. My work time is always random. I'm also a father of 3. What kind of plan is good for a busy life? I'm always thinking and gaining muscle or conditioning. So let's finish out with that question. We got a busy guy. He's working. Yeah. He's a family man. He wants a program. So I know you're going to have a great answer for this, Tosh. What do you got for him?
Yeah, that's where I'm going to go ahead and say we need to take the red wire out and put the black wire in and switch the red to the black, because you don't need a program. The program that you need is here, and that's just do something. Just do something every day. It doesn't have to be at a set time. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to follow any program. Just get someplace, pick something up, go run 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't matter. Do something. And if that one 5-minute session that you had didn't feel like it was enough, if you have 2 or 3 minutes later in the day, do something else. But don't feel like you have to have a 6 hours. I'm a very organized, meticulous. I needed to have a plan because I was, whatever reasons, and if I missed 4:30 a.m., I was completely derailed. And then it was so hard to get back on track. And man, I'll tell you what, you grab a kettlebell and you swing that bad boy as hard as you can for 5 straight minutes. I'll tell you what, you got to work out. And so I think that the need or the desire for a program, I understand that and I can empathize with it, is exactly what you don't need. Just do something.
Right. I'm going back to, if you do 1 set of push-ups that day, it's 100% more than 0. And now with the family, put those 2 kids in a snow sleigh, whether it's snowy where you live or not, or put the 3 kids in them and drag them across the grass. Now you got your sled drags for the day. Go get a pair of kettlebells off Craigslist or old dumbbells and farmer walk and tell the kids we're going to go for a walk around the block and do push-ups with them, or you're watching TV together and you do push-ups in between commercials and the kids lay on your back. You're 100% more than 0. And and we're getting to the beauty is in the imperfection. And I think he's going to find a lot more joy in that training. He's not going to work out. He's going to train. And as I always say, life happens. And if you want the perfect workout, I always say, wait till you got kids. Wait till anything happens in life. And I don't have a set program. I train whatever I want to do. And in fact, I try to train imperfectly. I used to be so perfect with all that bodybuilding. Oh, you can't train more than this, more than that. And then it's like, you think of it like, does a basketball player say, coach, when somebody's like, I squatted yesterday. Okay, you play basketball. Did you run yesterday? Yes, you did. Well, you're running 6 days a week during basketball season and jumping. Yet we're so, you could only jump this many times a week. You could only run this much. Dude, just get after it. You will build your mind, which will build the body. So the imperfect is the beauty.
Everybody's looking for the scientific optimization. And the reality is that's not for everybody. In fact, that's for the minority of people that are in. I get it. It would be nice to have this optimized program that's scientifically proven for whatever. And that is great. That's an ideal. Strive for an ideal. But the reality is you don't need it. You just need to get a little bit better. In fact, it's not get a little bit better. It's suck a little bit less. And
nice.
If you can just twist that around, man, you're winning. You're winning.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm going to hopefully get this audio onto iTunes, pull it all out. So for everybody listening, what's the website that you've got? Is it, give me the website.
Crookedbutterfly.com. There's not much up there. Just snapshot into something, but you can always reach me at tosh@crookedbutterfly.com. Grab my Instagram handle. But I just try to throw some stuff out there, share philosophy, whatever moves me in the moment. I try not to over-proliferate the internet with shit. But I get moved every now and then. I might go on a rant and just try to share. Take it or leave it, man.
Love it. Perfect. So everybody listening, we're with Brian Chontosh. Get over to ZachEvanesh.com or just Google Tosh.crookedbutterfly or Tosh Crooked Butterfly. His Instagram and website will pop up. And, man, thanks, Tosh. This was awesome. I can't wait to read the book, and you just sharing stories. It's going to inspire me. And for everybody that watched, thank you very much. Tosh, we're going to close out, and I'll shoot you a text message. Peace, everybody. Thank you. Later, Tosh.